carrying an American passport are trying to get through to the airport. But we will do whatever needs to be done to see to it they get to the airport.
That's straight up not true. Thousands of Americans are stranded in Afghanistan. We've heard from some of them directly here on Fox.
I got an email from the embassy that says, safely get yourself to the airport so we can get you in. But when I got there, there's thousands of people on the street and crazily walking around. They just open it for us to get in. But there's a lot of people. It's really tough. It's really hard to get in. When I went to the airport, what I saw was all the checkpoints. They were checking. They were not asking, where are you going if you're going to the airport? No. Well, why you guys are going? Where are you guys going? Where are you guys leaving? This country needs you guys. I'm trying to get my family out of here.
Joining me now is Hoover Institution Senior Fellow Victor Davis Hanson. I mean, Victor, I have the New York Post right here, Friday. There's like a half dozen people, stranded Americans, that are in the Post. I had a gun pointed to my chest. The other one, I'm stuck here. I'm a U.S. citizen. I can't get out. I'm shivering. I'm panicking. Joe Biden says he hasn't heard of any Americans that can't get to the airport. Are you serious?
That was the most absurd press conference I've ever heard, Jesse, and it was also dereliction of his own duty. If people heard that in Afghanistan and 10,000 of them came out of hiding and they started to go to the airport, a lot of them would be killed and he'd be responsible for giving them false information. It's entirely absurd, and everybody knows it, that you pull your military out first and you let civilians and their families fend for themselves. It's absurd that you don't coordinate with your NATO allies. It's absurd that you leave $50 billion of top-notch military equipment and you turn Afghanistan into a weapons mart for the next 20 years. And it's absolutely absurd that you tell people they can go to the airport with impunity when they'll be shot or killed or harassed or worse if you take him up on that. He was either incoherent or, as you said, he was flat out telling untruth.
Yeah, both of them are just terrible to witness. Commander-in-Chief clueless about the truth on the ground. And then he actually said that, no, he hasn't heard from any of our allies that things are going badly. He thinks everything's going great. Meanwhile, you read every single paper over in Europe, and they're all calling it a catastrophe. All the leaders in Great Britain, Germany, France, they're saying, where is this guy? What the hell is going on?
Well, they're using superlatives. They're saying this is the worst setback for the West in 50 years. This is the worst thing NATO's ever suffered. And then they're fighting in the British Parliament on who's to blame for listening to Joe Biden. And the idea that Joe Biden and the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs have no idea how many Americans are there after they've had 7 months in office is disgraceful. And the media thought that they were going to get out of their obsequious lapdog role, but they didn't ask the necessary questions. No. But the few questions they asked were damning in themselves.
Yeah, it was a pathetic job by the press. They didn't have the emotion. They couldn't get the questions right. And Victor, I've had you on the show for a couple years. I've never seen you this angry. They didn't have the emotion. They couldn't get the questions right. And Victor, I've had you on the show for a couple years. I've never seen you this angry. I've never been this angry in a long, long time. I'm usually cool, calm, and collected. I'm pissed. I don't like the fact that the Commander-in-Chief stranded thousands of Americans behind enemy lines, and he won't own up to it. And he thinks everything's just great. And he's going to pay a huge price for this politically. I'll give you the last 20 seconds.
He is. I'm very upset that the families of 2,500 dead and 20,000 wounded were told that this was inevitable, that this mess at the airport and this carnage and this chaos, it had to happen that way. There were no other choice. That's not what they died for and sacrificed for. There was a way out if you wanted leave to do it with order and dignity and honor, and he chose the opposite in every single case. And then he walked off in kind of a huff, as he usually does. It's pathetic.
A dishonorable disgrace is what we're watching. All right, Victor Davis Hanson, thanks for coming on the show. We always appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
Kamala Harris in hiding after Joe Biden's Afghan bungle. What is the VP plotting? We have inside information. But next, Water's World Crime Watch.